Good evening, everybody. This is Casper from the Tropical Weather Threat Society bringing you a special update on Tropical Storm Melissa down here into the Caribbean Sea. We are live in anticipation and awaiting our 11 p.m. update. We have not received the 11 p.m. update from the National Hurricane Center yet, and I know why. We are currently monitoring the Hurricane Hunter aircraft has been kind of flying around, um, trying to find the center of circulation in its absolute entirety here. I've been stalking this, kind of waiting on a new graphical update, and then I know that the National Hurricane Center is waiting on this last core punch from the Air Force reconnaissance to get some of that information, the latest information, pushed off into the 11 p.m. advisory. So if you guys want to just bear with me here for a few minutes, we will definitely get that information out to everybody. But we can discuss the overall modeling that we have seen change over the last few hours. We're starting to get a much better agreement on the modeling, and it does look like the direct impacts to Jamaica are going to take place. I do know that the Jamaican government has come out and basically declared a disaster under their disaster declarations. Uh, what they do, whatever, I don't remember the exact terminology of it, but they did declare the area ready for disasters. So it's all you got to rush all preparations to completion, folks. That's honestly the best advice I can give. Let's see, what do we got? Okay, so they're gonna call it. It's probably gonna be about 994 on its central pressure. Let's see, 995, 994. I would imagine. Let's take a look here. Oh, Dorvac's got 987. But then 993, these are old values. Um, yeah, the shear's gone down to 13 knots from 15 earlier. Let's get rid of the precipitable water. The rapid intensification models have definitely started to trigger. No doubt about that. Let's jump back here and see. No, we do not have the 11 yet. All right. Again, we are just in anticipation of the 11 p.m. advisory. That's really what we're waiting on. So we'll go ahead and again we'll jump a little further. What we have here is the Euro on the left and the GFS on the right. These are the 18Z total precipitation models. We're going to run these out around the day 6 period. As you could see here, the GFS has a great amount of rain, majority over the open waters, getting towards portions of the extreme western portion of the Tiburon Peninsula here in Haiti, and then kind of riding up with the majority of the water staying offshore. On the Euros idea, though, Jamaica takes an extreme amount of rain. And it's very, very, very high. Some estimates may be getting upwards of 35 to 40 inches, which would be localized amounts getting into like the 900 to 1100 millimeter range. And that's crazy. I mean, this is has all the potential to be worse than Hurricane Gilbert in 1988. And for the folks there, they'll that live there and that understand the history there, Gilbert is the benchmark storm. So we're hoping for the best. All right, let's jump in and see what the governments all have to say here. Taking a look at Jamaica. Um, let's see here. This old advisory. Did they not release anything new? I know they're working their tails off trying to get everything prepared. Come on. There you go. You can do it. All right. While we wait on that to load, we'll jump over to Haiti. As you can see here, Haiti has issued a bulletin. Let's see if we've got anything here. I was looking for any kind of, rain or anything like that. Any amounts. They're looking at 24-hour accumulations between 150 and 300 millimeters, and more than 200 to even 250 to even 400 millimeters. That's quite a bit of rain, especially in mountainous territory. And again, this is for the 5 p.m. advisory. Did this not load? No, it did not. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. News release, please. Come on. Alright, I guess not. We'll come back to that here in a little bit. The Dominican Republic. Again, we are waiting on all of the 11 p.m. advisories. Just kind of trying to kill time, waiting on this to pop. We'll take a look. There it is. All right, we are currently located at 16.1 degrees north, 74.9 degrees west, about 180 miles southeast of Kingston, Jamaica, and approximately 245 miles south of the Port-au-Prince of Haiti. Maximum sustained winds will remain at 65 miles an hour. Present movement is northwest or 325 degrees at 3 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure down to 993. There it goes. Jamaica has now upgraded their hurricane watch to a hurricane warning. So we now have a hurricane warning in effect for Jamaica. A hurricane watch still remains in effect for the southwestern peninsula of Haiti from the border of the Dominican Republic to Port-au-Prince. And a tropical storm warning is still in effect for the same area of Haiti from the Dominican Republic to Port-au-Prince. Let's see. Interest elsewhere in Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and eastern Cuba, the Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos Island should monitor the progress of Melissa. Watches could be required for portions of eastern Cuba on Saturday. The most important portion of a public advisory: hazards affecting land. Wind. Hurricane conditions are expected in the warning area in Jamaica beginning Sunday, with tropical storm conditions beginning late Saturday. Hurricane conditions are possible within the watch area in Haiti later this weekend, with tropical storm conditions expected to begin tonight or Saturday. Our rainfall. Melissa is expected to bring total rainfall of 15 to 25 inches to portions of southern Hispaniola and Jamaica through Tuesday, with local maxima of 35 inches possible across the Tiburon Peninsula of Haiti. Additional heavy rainfall is likely beyond Tuesday. Uncertainty at that time range precludes exact storm totals. Potential catastrophic flash flooding and landslides are possible across portions of Jamaica and the southern Dominican Republic, while catastrophic flash flooding is anticipated in southern Haiti. Notice the difference of the words. We have landslides, potential catastrophic flash flooding and landslides are possible across Jamaica and the southern Dominican Republic. while catastrophic flash flooding is anticipated in southern Haiti. So it is expected in southern Haiti. For eastern Cuba, total rainfall of 4 to 8 inches, with local amounts to 12 inches are possible into Tuesday. Additional heavy rainfall is likely beyond Tuesday. Uncertainty at that time range precludes exact storm totals. Our storm surge. Minor coastal flooding is likely along the coast of Jamaica by Saturday in areas of onshore winds as tropical storm conditions begin to reach the area. However, there is a risk of a more life threatening storm surge, especially along the south coast of Jamaica later this weekend or early next week. Peak storm surge heights could reach 5 to 10 feet above ground level, near and to the east of where the center of Melissa makes landfall. This storm surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. And our surf threat. Stay out of the water. We've got a monster storm that is in development. Stay out of the water. We do not have the new graphic yet for our cone. Let's see if we've got the discussion. We certainly do. We'll read this while we wait on the overall forecast cone. Paragraph number 1. We're going to read the whole thing here tonight. Reports from NOAA and Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that Melissa is still trying to get organized. While the central pressure has fallen to 993 millibars, the tail Doppler radar from NOAA aircraft indicates that the 500 millibar center is displaced about 20 to 25 miles east-southeast of the surface center. The tilt is also present at the aircraft flight levels, with dropsondes released at flight level center, missing the surface center and reporting 25 to 35 knot surface winds. In addition, the aircraft radar data and land-based radar data from Jamaica show that the cyclone has not yet been able to develop a persistent eye wall. Based mainly on the central pressure and satellite intensity estimates, the initial intensity is held at 55 knots. Although the initial motion is a bit uncertain, Melissa now appears to be moving slowly northwest with the initial motion of 325 degrees at 3 knots. A turn towards the west or west-northwest and a continued slow forward speed are expected in 12 to 24 hours as low to mid-level ridging builds to the north of the cyclone. This motion should continue through about 72 hours. After that time, a deep layer mid-latitude trough moving into the southeastern United States and the southwestern Atlantic will break the ridge to the north, with Melissa expected to turn northward and eventually northeastward as it recurves into the westerlies. There remains a substantial spread in the guidance with respect to where the center of Melissa may pass in relation to Jamaica, with solutions ranging from the GFS passing near the very eastern end of the island to the Canadian passing west of the island. The new forecast track is similar to the previous track and shows the center passing over Jamaica just after 72 hours. However, any motion north of the current forecast track could bring the center near or over Jamaica at almost any time between 24 or 72 hours. After passing Jamaica, Melissa is likely to move near or over eastern Cuba, but which portion of eastern Cuba may be most affected remains uncertain at this time. While the westerly shear that has been affecting Melissa will not completely stop during the next 2 to 3 days, it is forecast to decrease to about 10 to 15 knots in 24 hours or less. This should allow rapid development as the storm is located in a moist environment over very warm sea surface temperatures. The one short-term restraining factor is that Melissa's structure is not quite good enough yet to allow rapid intensification, and thus it could be another 6 to 12 hours before rapid intensification begins in earnest. The latest round of intensity guidance shows somewhat lower peak intensities than the previous advisory, mainly due to the models moving Melissa near or over Jamaica. However, the current forecast track keeps the center offshore for 72 hours or more. Based on this, the new intensity forecast is at the high end of the guidance with a peak intensity of 135 knots. Despite the weaker guidance, there is still a possibility that Melissa could become a Category 5 hurricane during the forecast period. After passing near or over Jamaica, the cyclone is forecast to weaken due to possible interaction with Cuba and increasing southwesterly shear as Melissa encounters the mid-latitude westerlies. If we look here, the National Hurricane Center has this up to 155 miles an hour within the next 60 hours. And then at the 72-hour mark, still maintaining that 155 mile an hour maximum sustained winds, and then making landfall into parts of Jamaica. Let's figure out. It's still the 8. Are we not going to get the cone? There we go. We'll use the experimental and grab the cone. It does look like that maybe just a slight left shift. Maybe just a little bit to the left. Maybe by just a couple miles westward. Still shows catastrophic impacts and could eventually and potentially bring, if it follows that center line, bring the eastern portion of the eye wall into the port of Kingston and over the capital of Jamaica. That would be terrible. That would be absolutely terrible. Let's see here. Our rapid intensification models, as you can see, this came out at 0Z UTC or 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This particular one here is the one that I have highlighted there. I'll just redraw it so this way we don't have it kind of as a mess. This one here is the model that is denoted and used here in the real-time tropical cyclone tab from the University of Wisconsin here. So as we can see, those percentages will match up identically. DTOPS is going absolutely bonkers with this thing, trying to say, let's go, let's rip it. Ships rapid intensification too. Yeah, there's a decent possibility. We've still got to get the structure. The structure has to realign with the surface and the mid-level rotations, and then we will see this thing take off. Sky's the limit at that point. All right, Grand Cayman, you guys dropped even more with this advisory. Guantanamo Bay, you have kind of stayed somewhat similar. 55% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds, 23% chance of seeing those 50 knot winds, and an 11% chance of seeing our hurricane force winds. For our folks here in Jamaica, Montego Bay, you have gone up. 93% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds, 70% chance of seeing those 50 knot or 58 mile an hour winds, and a 46% chance of seeing those hurricane force winds. For Kingston, 95% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds, 71% chance of seeing those 50 knot or 58 mile an hour winds, and we have 46% chance of seeing those hurricane force winds. Those values have continued to increase. At the last advisory, our hurricane force winds were 37%. Now at this advisory, we are at 46%. So the probability is growing higher and higher as we get further and further up the line here. And that is becoming quite concerning because it is looking very, very likely that we will see significant hurricane impacts to the island of Jamaica. All right, our rainfall forecast. This is another point of it. This is a part of the catastrophic flooding, especially for the folks here into southern Haiti. These folks here, and especially in and along this portion of the Tiburon Peninsula, uh, as you saw, were anticipated catastrophic flooding, not possible, anticipated. So that area that I have highlighted there is expected to see some extraordinary impacts, and is going to lead to almost certain loss of life unless all those people can move further inland and get themselves off of that peninsula. For the island of Jamaica, that's a little bit of a different story. Um, you guys are looking at a long duration, 24 to 48 hour, maybe longer rain event. We're looking at 20 to 30 inches or 500 to 750 millimeters with localized amounts that could be much higher than that. We could see totals that reach and or exceed 1,000 millimeters of rain. And that's almost unheard of. No matter where that falls in a short period of time, I don't care where you're at, you're going to see extensive flooding. Having mountainous terrain in Jamaica only makes that worse. So please, folks, rush all your preparations to completion. A hurricane warning has now been issued for the island of Jamaica. You have been upgraded. All leave nothing to chance. Prepare for the worst. Anything that changes can only be for the better. And again, our rainfall forecast, the euro is very aggressive as far as some of the rainfall totals here across the island of Jamaica, and other models are also in that same camp with being ultra aggressive with the amount of rain that is going to fall across the island of Jamaica, including the Tiburon Peninsula of Haiti, and also getting up into eastern Cuba. All right, beautiful. We've got our key messages. I love how they do this, categorizing it by country. I hope they continue this going forward. Key message number one, strictly for Jamaica. Melissa's slow movement will bring a multi-day period of damaging winds and heavy rainfall beginning late Saturday or Sunday, likely causing catastrophic flooding and numerous landslides. There is an increasing risk of life-threatening storm surge early next week. All preparations should be complete by late Saturday. Key message number two for our folks in Haiti. Catastrophic flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti into early next week, likely causing extensive infrastructural damage and potentially prolonged isolation of communities. Immediate preparations to protect life and property are urged. Strong winds could also potentially last for a day or more over the Tiburon Peninsula. Key message number three for Dominican Republic. Heavy rainfall could produce potentially catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides in the southern regions. Key message number four for Eastern Cuba, the Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos. Monitor Melissa closely. There is an increasing risk of a significant storm surge. They'll be redoing that, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall by the middle of next week. In eastern Cuba, the risk of life-threatening flash flooding and landslides is increasing. So, we need the Turks and Caicos. Let's see what's going on, guys. We don't have anything yet. I don't see anything. Nope, that was on Aaron. So, again, there we go. There's the power of the database right to the Turks and Caicos. Their Department of Disaster Management and Emergencies. I mean, you can't get much more than that. Hurricanes. Do we have anything here? No. They haven't updated this website in forever, it seems. They still got 2023 forecast. What? Y'all have lost your minds. Come on now. Let's get to it. Y'all need help. Let me know. All right. Again, that's the power of the database. You get all of your official resources. Cuba, the Bahamas, the Caymans. I mean, please, folks, use your official resources. I can't stress this enough. All right, we are going to now jump into. I'm going to start off with the Google DeepMind because it is the one that is. I'd rather show you guys this um, first, and then we'll go through the rest of them because we might as well start off with the worst one first and then work our way down. So hopefully we're not leaving on such a high anxiety note, and I am certainly not trying to hype this up and or create more fear than is already there for these folks. Getting into, let's see here. The majority of the guidance wants to bring this into hurricane status very early Sunday morning. That is when the majority of the ensemble members bring it into major hurricane status. We are looking at 36, so a 72% chance there early Sunday morning, and that only increases up to an 82% chance here as we get into around sunrise on Sunday, maybe a little after, and then it just increases in intensity to where we get to this point and only 3 of the ensemble members are not highlighting a major hurricane. So regardless, category 3, 4, or 5, we are looking at major hurricane impacts. Please rush all preparations to completion, as folks in Jamaica, you are now under a hurricane warning. Yes, you are. Let's see. Yes, there are a lot of the chasers did leave Jamaica because they're afraid that once the storm occurs, how long is it going to be before they get off the island? This could very easily turn into a humanitarian crisis, not just a normal disaster impact. I do know that there are folks already here in the United States that are preparing disaster supplies and rescue teams to head to Jamaica or wherever is needed when the coast is clear. So please, folks, I can't stress this enough. Make all preparations to protect life and property and rush them to completion. Our Euro legacy model, if we run this forward, we will see that there is still a great deal of east-west spread on this, but a very, very good agreement within the models themselves on that northeasterly turn. Could it go a little bit early and east of Jamaica, a little bit west of Jamaica? There's still some uncertainty in the track. The National Hurricane Center is kind of splitting right down the middle, which just so happens to be right in and over the island of Jamaica. The 18Z if we see here, a good amount of that guidance really, really hangs out very, very close to the island of Jamaica. A few of them turn it to the east and try to run it up between the Hispaniola, between Haiti and Jamaica, but the likely outcome of this is going to be direct impact with the island of Jamaica. And now comparing that to the Euro AI, as you could see here, again, a decent amount of cross-track spread. And though maybe just from comparing it earlier, maybe as far as the ensemble mean is concerned, if we were to take it all together and try to average a line, maybe just a tick west from what we saw earlier. Not by a lot, though. But still, bullseye right on Jamaica. And then follow up with Cuba and the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos. So this is not good, folks. This really isn't. This is about as disastrous and catastrophic as it is looking to be, and it is quite sad, honestly. We were almost done with this season, and then we had to get, Mother Nature had to make sure that she got the last word in, and this time it's going to be really bad, I'm afraid. Taking a quick look here at Earth Null, we are down at the surface. We have put our trusty green circle located right here into the center. We are going to come up to about 5,000 feet above the ocean surface. As you could see, the surface and getting into that lower level, those are vertically aligned. As we come to the 700 millibar level, the majority of it is over and kind of vertically stacked, maybe offset just by a little bit. But look what happens when we jump up to the 500 millibar level. 700 millibar level being around 10,000 feet, so they're starting to get a little bit of a turn. And then by the time that we get up to the 500 millibar level, around 18,000 feet above the ocean surface, we also then see the offset to the southeast or east southeast that was noted in the National Hurricane Center's discussion. But there's also one other thing here on Earth Null tonight that I want to highlight. I need you guys to please understand that low pressures in the northern hemisphere spin in a counterclockwise motion. But when it comes to tropical cyclones, when we get into the upper levels and its exhaust, if you are going to find a perfect environment, or I can't say perfect, a very conducive environment for tropical cyclone intensification, you would need to see high pressure into the upper levels. An upper level anticyclone with upper level divergence there. It's not necessarily a high pressure, because high pressure would say sinking air, but an upper level anticyclone that is going to spin in the opposite direction in a clockwise fashion. Well, see anything in particular that might look like what I just described? We are starting to get the development of the upper level anticyclone. And you may ask, how is that possible? Why is that possible? Well, let's go back to our satellite. This is our infrared satellite on Melissa. Notice how we keep seeing these percolating very, very white dots. What this is representative of in the infrared satellite, from the satellite, they take a picture of the clouds, and the colors that we see represent the temperature of the cloud tops themselves. The brighter the color, as you can see denoted here, 110 degrees below 0 Celsius. So these are extremely, extremely cold cloud tops. These are reaching way, way up into the atmosphere. That air has got to evacuate somewhere. It's got to go somewhere. Well, that somewhere just so happens to be into the upper levels. And now, with that percolating generation of those extremely strong thunderstorms on the mid-level circulation, now we are starting to develop an upper level anticyclone that should allow for an even better environment. As that continues to expand outward, the storm will then start to feel less and less shear, even though there'll still be some shear there. But once we get this thing going, that shear is not going to stop it at all. I can remember Hurricane Michael back in, what was that, 20, Lord have mercy, I'm losing my mind, 2018 with Hurricane Michael. And we watched that rapidly intensify in the face of about 20, 25 knots worth of shear. And it just basically laughed at it due to the overall water temperatures and the energy that was available. And this one's only supposed to be about 10, 15 knots. So, and obviously the models and the National Hurricane Center are calling for a major hurricane associated with this. All right, everybody. If you guys got any questions, I will be here. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I am going to, is Melissa basically sitting still? Won't that maybe mean it's going to turn sooner? Sammy, so it is, but we can use Earthnol for this. We'll come back down to the 500 millibar level, and we're going to zoom out. And as you can see here, we have our ridges. We've got our one high right here. Oh, that's a terrible color. Let's try this again. We'll put our red out there. We've got our high pressure ridge right here. You can see that clockwise rotation. We have our other high pressure ridge here. But what is occurring is you're starting to see this one isn't necessarily very circular. It is coming all the way out and coming down like this. It is this nose of this high pressure right here. What you see here was that old ridge that was, or that old boundary that was trying to, that the GFS said that it was going to run that way, that obviously didn't. Now that that boundary is starting to eliminate, we will then see the clockwise flow of this pushing down on the storm. Now the question will become, does it go due west? Does it make like a little west-northwest? Or does it end up jogging west-southwest? Right now, while this little frontal feature thing is still kind of in play right here, this little boundary line right here, that's kind of helping things remain a little stationary. But you're getting the canceling out of this side compared to this side. And a lot of the movement recently has been the surface center kind of jumping around, trying to catch the mid-level center. This is the GFS's solution, and I will run this forward. There we go. We run this forward another 24 hours, and if you notice at this point, that little troughing feature is basically washed out. It is nothing more at this time. That's gone. Okay. And then you will see the high pressure and that nose of that ridge right here. It is not allowing for any escape route. And what we're waiting on is this deep layer low pressure trough to exit. Now it's not going that way. It's actually, it's headed, I think it's headed northeast. Let's take a look. No, a little east. And then that, again, that's that deep layer trough that's associated, that's going to pick this thing up. And here comes the second one on the back side. And this one, You can always tell, for folks that may want to know, when you look at the 500 millibar level and you see the winds on this side of where the low pressure is, this is intensifying. And that wind is going to then try to rotate around to that low pressure. So this is going to bring some significant impacts. I can almost guarantee it. I can almost guarantee it that we're going to see some significant impacts, potentially some decent severe weather associated with that as well. All right. Let's see. All right. I do not have any more questions, so I am going to go ahead and cut this down tonight. Tomorrow, for live schedule, we will be back live here at 9 a.m. Eastern. 8 a.m. Central here on Facebook and YouTube. Feel free, join us, catch the replay. We'll be live for multiple times a day until this threat from Melissa has ceased to exist. So, all right, everybody, we'll talk to you again in the morning. Have a great night. Bye for now.